Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and welcome to another episode of Anything But Horror. Now, this, of course, is where I discuss different genres of film and what got me into film. Today, we're going to be looking at The Perfect Weapon. The Perfect Weapon is a 1991 film which runs approximately 95 minutes, and it's directed by Mark DeSalle. Now, this stars Jeff Speakman, and I do believe this was his first big starring role. This also has Mako. He was the baddie in Samurai Jack, and I cannot remember the name of the baddie in Samurai Jack, but he did the voice for it. And he was also the wizard in the Conan films. He's played a ton of things, but those are his, in my opinion, those were his most noteworthy. This also has Beau Starr, who plays Jeff Speakman's dad in this film. Beau Starr was the sheriff in Halloween 4 and 5, if I remember correctly. I know he was in 4. I'm trying to think if he was in 5. And Professor Tanaka. Now, he, of course, played Oddjob in Goldfinger. Alright, now this was a 1991 film. Now, at the time, I graduated high school because I graduated in 89. And I went to see this with my dad because it looked super, super cool. Now, this is actually the second time that this has been in my collection. I used to have the VHS tape, but got rid of it a long time ago. And the DVD was going for quite a bit of money back then. But Olive Films picked it up and put it out. I believe it's Olive Films. Yes, Olive Films. And believe it or not, Olive being a boutique label, I found this at a thrift store. And I was super excited because I hadn't seen it in maybe a couple years and I wanted to watch it and, of course, add it for my collection. Now, this has a pretty simple plot. Jeff Speakman plays a guy who comes back to town to see his sensei, also to see his family, who he's pretty much estranged from for various reasons. He does have a little brother who is a cop, and a father who is a retired cop. Or is he still in the force? I can't remember. Anyway, so his sensei is Mako, and he owns a antique Asian sort of art store sort of thing, who is getting hassled by the Korean mafia. Now, Professor Tanaka is, of course, an enforcer in the Korean mafia, and they're giving Mako a hard time, busting up his store, trying to extort him for money. It's kind of like that whole syndicate sort of thing that you see in just about all the films. Well, Jeff Speakman's there to save the day. He, of course, is a master of Kempo, and before he achieves master status, which is kind of why he came back, he does have a bit of a discipline and a attachment problem, if you will. So it's him battling his demons and also saving his friend, trying to save his friend, and taking down the Korean mafia. That's basically a story in a nutshell. Now, I've always really enjoyed this film. I watched the trailer, and it's one of them things where, at this point, I graduated high school, but my father and I used to go see a lot of films together, action movies and martial arts being just kind of our thing. And we went to see this, and I absolutely loved it. This dude is super fast. Now, this also came at a time where martial arts movies were starting to make money. You had Chuck Norris, who made Code of Silence, Missing in Action. These movies did really well. So, of course, Hollywood was looking for the next big thing. And it was around this time, a little bit earlier, In fact, you had Steven Seagal coming out around '89 with Above the Law. Um, Jean Claude Van Damme came out um, 87, 88 ish, somewhere around in there. And then you had other ones like Don the Dragon Wilson and, a few others. And then came Jeff Speakman, who I thought was going to be the next big thing. Unfortunately, it kind of didn't work out like that. This was in my opinion, this was his biggest movie. He did have a couple after this, but kind of faded off into obscurity, which is a shame because, you know, he was really fast and he brought a different martial arts style to the screen, which I always appreciated. Much like Steven Seagal. Steven Seagal at the time, I think, was the newest, biggest thing because he came out in '89. And until people started to know the real him, which I've heard he's pretty unlikable, and he kind of let himself go a little bit, he was basically it in Hollywood. A lot of people even thought he was going to be bigger than Jean Claude Van Damme. But like I said, he kind of let himself go and so on and so forth. I love this movie. I think it's so much fun. My father and I had a ball going to see this, and he and I both thought that he was going to be the next big thing, which turned out to be a little bit disappointing because, like I said, he didn't do much after that. But if you get a chance, this movie is fantastic. It's got life stories in it, of course, like most martial arts films. It's got a pretty interesting dynamic between Jeff Speakman's character and his family, and just really fun performances. I definitely recommend this one if you get a chance. Thank you so much for indulging me and talking about other forms of or other genres of film. And if you like what you see in here, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, peace.